Good afternoon. I'm Ken Kirschenbaum. Thanks for joining us. Start of a new week and continuation of our Central Station 2020 webinar series. Today we have the very well known and respected Central Station affiliated. You can see the young fellow, he used to be young anyway, Mike Zidor is getting ready to entertain you and educate you, I'm sure, and entice you. Affiliated is located in New Jersey, but it is most definitely a nationwide operation. And I've known them a long time, and a lot of you have known them a long time, and they're very well respected and competent Central Station. So I'm going to turn over the presentation to Mike. Make sure you send in your questions, type them in. I'll read them to Mike after he's done with his presentation, which should take about 20 minutes or so. And then we'll get to the questions. So Mike, it's all yours, and good luck.
All right, so Ken, let me know if you see my screen right now.
Yes, you're all good.
Hello, everyone. I can't say good afternoon because some people obviously could be joining us from other time zones today. For a quick introduction, Mike Zidor, Managing Director of Sales and Business Development at Affiliated. I know it's hard to tell from my boyish good looks, but I have been with the company for 22 years. June 10th of this year was 22 years. Want to say thank you to Ken and his team, Jennifer, Eileen, and Stacy specifically for putting this together. I think this is tremendously valuable for the industry. Of course, I will tell you that always see Ken for all of your needs. He has a great contract that we work with many of our partners with in lieu of our agreements over many years. So without further introduction, I'll jump in to our presentation today. So affiliated monitoring has been in the business for a little bit over 43 years, serving dealers of all different shapes and sizes. A little bit of background about affiliated, and I won't read bullets to you, but I do want to call out a couple of brief items here. So we do monitor, we do have the pleasure of monitoring for over 2,000 partners throughout the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. Just a few weeks ago, we were awarded the TMA SSI Marvel Monitoring Technology Award. This was for, which I'll talk about in just a little while, for our alert message and care alert services. And in 2018, we were also the Monitoring Center of the Year. I think what's also important for those who are listening in today on the call to know that a number of years ago, we put our second generation leadership into place. And about 5 years ago, we also added our second fully redundant location. Before we go into the rest of our presentation today, there's going to be a lot of information flying at you fast and furious. And so I want to call your attention to affiliated.com. We just relaunched our website about 3 or 4 months ago. You will find a robust website to navigate with a lot of information that we will not talk about today, just because Ken wouldn't give me 3 hours to talk about it, even when I asked him for it. And so please feel free to navigate this at your convenience and then reach out to us with any questions that we can assist you on. Again, just to make brief mention, very, very proud, not that I did any of the work, but very proud of our software development team that, again, we'll talk about in a little while. But just a few weeks ago, we were awarded the 2020 Monitoring Association SSI Technology Marvel Award. So this was for our work on what is called alert message and care alert, which are both instant notification priority group chat features that are part of our toolkit that we give to all of our dealers at no charge. Alert message is geared really for the security space, where care alert is geared for the medical alert space. A little bit about our monitoring center operation. So I am today sitting in our Union, New Jersey facility, which is the largest of its kind in the United States. We have a second geographically diverse location, fully redundant, fully load sharing, which means next available agent takes the next available call, and also fully resilient, located in Houston, Texas. Houston, when we added it to our monitoring center operation a number of years ago, was also one of the reasons why we added it. It was a very attractive labor market, also offered us a bilingual talent pool to have a further breadth of offerings to all of our dealers located throughout the United States and Canada. We are fully credentialed and licensed as well. One of the, I should say newer, even though it's not new, one of the newer additions to our credentials is our HIPAA compliance. Many partners that come to us now in the last number of years look for this. So we have, just to give you a little information, we have on an annual basis an auditing process that takes place where we bring someone in to make sure that we are properly storing all of our information for all privacy concerns. I'll also call out on this slide our FDNY approval. We are one of the few monitoring centers. I know Ken has had a few presenters over the last week who are also FDNY approved, but we are one of the few monitoring centers in the United States to have this approval. So the question is, what do we monitor? We are your one-stop shop for all of your needs. As Ken mentioned, we are a nationwide monitoring center. So we have dealers in all 50 states, and we monitor everything that you could bring to us. We do this many different ways, whether it be landline, cell, IP, whether it be through APIs, which I'll do a deeper dive into. We monitor across all of these different verticals and have experts on staff in these different verticals to meet your needs. Wanted to call your attention to a cover story from ESA's Security Nation, where Affiliated was the highlight of that article, really talking about, and again, for those who have been to our facility, which I have a suspicion that a handful of people on here at least have been to our facility, especially in New Jersey over the years. What it's talking about here behind the red door is that one of our rooms is a warehouse for our emergency preparedness supplies, whether you're talking about cots, tools, money, foodstuffs, whatever the case may be. This particular door here is alarmed in the event somebody like me, who is a non-technical person, would seek to enter this room. An alarm would go off with a strobe light, and I am not kidding. And I welcome everybody who has never been to our facility before to take the tour to see our level of preparedness. It's one of the things I think that really differentiates us from many of our competitors, and many of our competitors actually do a fine job, but I think it is a differentiator. The tremendous work that has gone into our building's infrastructure, whether it be New Jersey or whether it be in Houston, Texas, and the planning for both the mundane and the extraordinary events that we might be faced with. And this comes with 43 years of learning. But I'm going to say more importantly than infrastructure, more importantly than technology, is people. Without a great culture, nothing else matters. I'll draw your attention just to one item on here, which is that for every 100 candidates we interview to be a monitoring specialist, we hire a little bit less than 1% of them. We have many background checks, many testing points. It is critical for you, for everybody who is on this call, that we get this right. What I do all day long doesn't matter if we do not provide you world-class monitoring services. So we make sure that we support and surround all of our monitoring specialists with full-time mentors. We give them unbelievable benefits. There is ongoing, very complex KPIs that we measure our team by on all of our different shifts. We have a workforce management team, a 5-person team that all they are doing all day long is watching the efforts of our monitoring specialists on behalf of your customers. And so getting our culture right, getting our people right is everything in our world. And it has been that way for 43 years, and it will continue to be that way. Just want to highlight a couple of people on our team that we're very proud of. And it was great to be recognized for the TMA to recognize a number of these people over the last couple of years as well. This is very important to us to make sure that we are participating in such recognition programs, because our team is very important to us and very important to making sure that our mission is fulfilled. So how does Affiliated help its partners? First way is a dedicated onboarding team. We've been very fortunate over many years to bring on many partners, again, of all shapes and sizes. And it's very important that we get this onboarding process right. We have done, as you see at the last bullet, we have done hundreds of thousands of successful subscriber imports over the years. We have a head of onboarding that leads this team with dedicated resources across data and business analytics to make sure that this is done right, working alongside of project managers, working off of detailed checklists to make sure that that transition is smooth and your customers not only have a seamless transition, but that they then have the right experience as our partners for many years to come. One of the big distinguishing factors of Affiliated is our consulting services practice. So in just a little while, I'm going to walk through a couple of case studies. But the one thing that's really, I think, set us apart is our consulting work. So first of all, I do by mistake call our partners that we work with dealers, but they really are partners in the truest sense. We many times, especially as people are entering the industry, we many times help them pick out product, help them figure out their go-to-market strategies, talk about what the process is going to look like, bring them not just recommendations, but bring them the concrete steps as they look to work with us. Because it's really all in the endeavor for innovation. Meaning I've been in the business for 22 years. The business 22 years ago is dramatically different. There are way more opportunities for labor savings. There's more opportunities for product standardization. And so we bring that as part of our consulting services practice to all of our dealers. And of course, this is just part of our relationship. And so this is at no additional charge to all of our partners. Next 2 slides, I'm just going to talk about software development and IT. So our team is comprised of 18 people in software and data, full stack software developers on staff. I don't want to go out too much on a limb, but I'm going to say we have the largest software team in the space. This comes from a realization many years ago that our business, we have to, of course, do unbelievable monitoring on behalf of your customers. But this is the realization that our business was evolving over the last number of years, and that we needed to have software development resources in-house to be nimble, to integrate new products as they came to the market in a very quick manner. And all of this is supported by our IT and engineering group. Again, a 21-person group. Like our software development team, all of our resources are in-house, and again, responsible for telephony networking and all connectivity in our facilities. Again, many subject matter experts as it relates to the IT and engineering field for all of our needs. What we've actually done over the last number of years is split our IT group between what we'll call hard IT and soft IT. So soft IT meaning people who come out of an IT background, but it was really the need to find people who could specialize in automation platforms, who could specialize in our billing platforms, people who went to college for IT, but had not yet started going down the path of telephony engineers, networking engineers. And so this has given us unbelievable subject matter expertise in all of the different facets and all of the different systems in our organization. Again, a track record of innovation. I'm just going to call out a couple items here in a moment, because we have invested very heavily in innovating, very heavily in developing new products, new tools for all of our partners to take advantage of, to create the right customer experience as they seek to sell new systems to their customers. Much of this is possible with our full suite of APIs. So I'm just going to call out a couple of items here. So we were the first UL 827B listed video monitoring center for third parties. We, over the last number of years, have done a tremendous amount of video monitoring. It's become a much larger piece of our day-to-day business. Again, I'm not going to read the bullets to you. I'll let you absorb them for a moment. Feel free, of course, to again visit our website. Feel free to reach out to myself or us generally, and we can walk you through all of our video monitoring offerings. We do have on staff a director of video monitoring services that is well versed in all things video, actually built and ran for many years a video-centric monitoring center before joining our team about 4 years ago. Some of our key technology integrations, Affiliated is often not just the beta for many of these partners on the screen here, but is often the alpha testing site for many of these partners. And the same holds true for PERS and MPERS. Over the last number of years, we have seen a significant increase in this vertical of our business, and so we are integrated with all of the major providers. In fact, in 2016, Affiliated launched its own PERS and Connected Health event, which is called Catalyst. I'm sure many of you have seen this in the trade publications or have received a whole lot of emails from us over the last number of years. This is the largest PERS event in North America. Everybody here is invited to participate in our annual event. Unfortunately, did not happen this past May just because of the set of circumstances that we are faced with, but looking forward to kicking off again in 2021. All right, so now I'm going to switch gears just for a couple minutes here before we wrap up. And I thought it would be interesting to give you a couple case studies. I think it's a great way to highlight our people, our training, and our technology as they all come together. So the first case study was a private equity sponsor that was looking to encourage efficiencies. So it was a company that was built by acquisition, had their own monitoring center for many years. What they lacked, however, though, was uniformity. It was a company that was heavily built by acquisition, and so there was a lot of permutations. about how they operated on a day-to-day basis. So the goal was to increase EBITDA. What we did to work with them was to standardize their infrastructure. We became their monitoring partner at the time, but much more than just becoming their monitoring partner, there was a lot that they had to unravel in 20 years of processes and procedures. So we spent, as we were taking over their monitoring services, we also spent the better part of 4 to 6 months helping them clean up all of their telephony, helping them standardize on equipment. That way they could focus on sales and service again. What did this mean in practical terms? Besides letting them focus on sales and service again, it meant a decrease in operating costs by $4 million per year. Case study 2, a connected car startup. So this was a Y Combinator startup. So Y Combinator, for those who are not familiar with the terminology, is a seed money startup accelerator, meaning this is some of the money behind companies that you've heard of, like Dropbox, Instacart, DoorDash. This is the company that has worked with some of those companies. They, amongst their traditional offerings that they had for many years, they saw crash detection as a differentiator in the market. But what they needed from Affiliated was tremendous speed to market. For a very brief period of time, they attempted to work with another company. That did not go well. And so they came to us, and in a 6-week period of time, they needed to be live and they needed to be on our platform. So we used our existing Signal APIs. Our agents have instant access to GPS data, accident data as it comes in upon the event. And they went from startup, they did not go out of business. They went from startup to $100 million exit, sold to a much larger company at the time. And they did that in 4 years. And my final case study is a national utility that expanded into security. So they came to us very fresh. They didn't know what equipment they wanted to use. They didn't know what platform for that equipment they wanted to use. They didn't know anything about the space. So we spent the better part of 6 months to a year, just them back and forth, our facility, their facilities, our teams, their teams. We brought in all of our business leaders. We brought in IT leaders, whatever they needed at the time. It was about a 6-month process for them to select everything that they needed. They really ultimately needed seasoned leadership. And so they leveraged us for everything. Actually, I don't think these 4 bullets do it justice. They leverage us for all of our years of experience in the space to launch their new security offering. And since they started a little bit before this, but since 2015, they've experienced annual growth a little bit over 22% year over year. So my 3 takeaways as we turn this back to Ken and some of your questions today, I want to leave these 3 thoughts in your mind about Affiliated. That we are a recognized and awarded industry leader. We are committed to innovation, regardless of the shape and size of our partners, and we offer proven partner success. I was going to give you my email address, but I figure if you're writing stuff down and taking screenshots, it'd be easier to give you my phone number. And also I gave you the URL of our website to go visit, because you will get even greater information than I was able to share in this period of time. And at this time, I'm going to turn it back to Ken.
Thanks, Mike. That was a great presentation. And one thing that Affiliated is most definitely, and that is a professionally run operation, very tight ship. So I have a bunch of questions. I should tell the
Hopefully
audience.
I can answer them smartly.
Yes, I hope so. But I do want to preface even this first question, especially this first question. These are not planted questions, Mike. These are real questions
So the first question is, why is he so good looking? I'm ready.
No, that I got that privately for myself. Mike, you mentioned that many dealers use Kirschenbaum contracts in lieu of the affiliated contracts.
They
I was
do.
told I was told that I can use my KK contract, and I set up for that. And then I was told that I must use the affiliated agreements. What gives?
No, that is not true. Ken's agreement has all of the protections that are necessary for affiliated. And so you can use Ken's contract. Feel free to give me a call after this call.
Right. Or call me, because that would be.
Or call Ken.
And I have not heard that problem, by the way. So if you do have it,
you can. Ken's agreement has been used in lieu of ours for many years.
keep in mind that when you go to a central station with a Kirschenbaum contract, the central station certainly has every right to ask you if it's an updated contract, or to review that contract to make sure it's updated. They're relying on it. One of the things I've said.
No, I mean, what's more important is that, we have many relationships, and there are a lot of specific needs, a lot of unique needs from our different partners. And so if there's ever any questions such as the one that was just asked, please feel free to reach out. You could reach out to myself, you could reach out to our account management team, and we will steer you right.
Okay. Do you monitor UL 2059? And what is that, by the way?
You mean 20? I think what is being asked, if we monitor UL 2050.
59.
I'm not familiar with 59. I'll say I'm familiar with UL 2050, which is DoD, and the answer is yes. So we from the slide I showed a little bit earlier, we monitor a lot of accounts in all different verticals. I think a piece of information I failed to share early on in one of my slides is that we provide monitoring services for over 1 million subscribers.
What 1 million you have? Okay.
Over 1 million.
Okay. What is UL 5050?
What is UL 2050?
2050, right.
UL 2050 is for Department of Defense type installations. It requires a different UL certification.
Okay.
I do not personally work on that all day long, but our operations teams are the one who work on that. So for whoever asked that question, I would love to put you in touch with some of our operations people, and they can get you started on that.
This is not a question, it's a comment. I've been to their facility, affiliated's facility, a few times, and it's a beautiful facility.
That's very kind of whoever shared that. And his last name probably didn't end in Zidor.
Okay, I didn't send that question in. Get ready for the rough ones now. Do they provide runner service for New York City fire alarm systems?
That's an interesting question. I know we provide runner service for UL. I don't think I just personally have never dealt with UL runner service for New York City specifically. I believe the answer is yes, but I do not want to say anything that is misleading on the call. But we do provide UL runner service all throughout the United States.
You provide runner service throughout the United States? I assume
Correct.
That's through engaging guard services in local.
Runners again. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds. This is a very specific question, probably for very few people that are on this phone call. But UL runner service is really when we contact a dealer of a known issue, and we have to contact them within a defined period of time to go service an account. So again, feel free to reach out to me separately on that.
All right. Are you New York City Fire Department approved? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Yeah, for many years. So we have been FDNY approved for longer than I've been here. I'm going to say 1995.
Do they issue UL burglar alarm certificates?
Yes.
So you'll issue the certificate.
Yeah. Again, I think what's being asked, and it's a great question. It's a very specific question, of course. I think what's being asked by a couple of these questions here is, are we full service? And the answer is yes. It's one of the benefits for having done this for 43 years and doing it nationwide, that we are, of course, faced with, challenged. Many things are brought to us over many years that has expanded our offerings.
With that huge IT staff, do you have your own automation platform, or do you use a vendor similar to Stages, Dice, etc.?
So we have used for many years the Mastermind automation platform because it is rock solid. But that being said, we have also, with our software development team and our IT teams, we have layered on top of this rock solid infrastructure. We have layered on top of it for many years for many of the tools that our partners see.
If you're using Mastermind, I'm going to guess that you do not have SMS messaging yet.
We do have SMS messaging.
It
has been built in-house. Again, another great question. Most of our tools over the last decade have been built in-house, and again, I'll use the same words, layered on top of our Mastermind automation platform.
Okay. How many accounts does Affiliated monitor? You already answered that. It's about 1 million.
Yeah, I'll say over 1 million, and that's the best I can share.
Right, that's fine. Right. Mike did make a mistake on runner service. It's not notifying the customer. It's the dealer. It's actually sending someone out to verify the alarm. So we're going to let that question go right now, whether he has runner service or not, all over the country. That would be something that the dealer would help set up, in a local area. During COVID, are your facilities fully staffed, or are your operators working remotely?
So we decided very early on, it's a great question. We decided very early on to be tremendously prudent, that most of our operators started working from home, where most of them continue to work from home. The alternative, as we've seen in some publications, of letting your people come into the facilities could be devastating to the seriousness of a monitoring center operation. We do, of course, have a number of people that work in the facilities. With the largeness of our facilities, I have ample space to have people socially distanced, able to perform their work. But the majority of our staff continues to work at home because we find that to be the most prudent decision by far.
What is your pricing structure for 400 accounts?
That is a very specific question. So I think I'm going to answer. So Ken, I may give you a little information that I may have listened in to some of your previous presentations last week. So we are very similar to our competitors, where we really talk about alarm factor. And so whoever was asking that question, feel free to contact me and we can discuss that.
So you don't want to give out your basic monitoring price?
I mean, a base rate almost doesn't mean anything. So I'll say my base rate is $5, but it doesn't mean much for dealers who obviously have a few hundred to a few thousand or more accounts.
Because the rate comes way down. Is that what you're suggesting?
Ken, it feels like you've done this for a while.
Okay. What does Affiliated see as the best growth opportunities in today's market for security companies?
So again, if I'm staying with security, I'm going to say video is increasingly, not an add-on, but I'm going to say it's increasingly a standalone offering that dealers should be paying attention to. If you want to switch gears in any form or fashion, I would say you should definitely look at the PERS market. Affiliated's also made it easy for people to enter that market. We have our own mobile PERS device that we had developed and built that's been on the market for about 6 to 9 months. with our own in-house platform that was built to manage cell connectivity, activate devices, deactivate devices. And so I would take a look at those two areas. Again, I know people historically have panicked when you've said the term PERS. They say it's very different than the security business. I say it's a great business to get into, especially because of the perfect storm of the demographic.
PERS is very competitive, by the way.
Every business is very competitive.
Right. Well, I don't know. Is video doorman very competitive?
Again, every business is increasingly competitive, and so I would take a look at those two.
Is there a geographical limitation on where you can issue your UL Berg certificates?
That is a great question. I do not have the answer, but I can get it. If whoever that is asking that question, feel free to reach out and I will get you that answer.
Some other central station that knows or should know that a central station can issue UL certificates only if it can arrange guard response within a specific period of time, depending on what level of certificate is being issued. Right? Okay, that's the answer.
Sounds like you were yelling at the audience.
I was yelling at. Yeah, sometimes I speak loud. Do you offer virtual doorman service?
Yes, we have partners that perform virtual doorman service every day.
And we talked about what that meant, by the way, to some of the dealers that are outside of large metropolitan areas with large buildings. So video doormans, the simplest is one access point covered with a camera and two-way audio, so that access can be. It combines access administration basically with video and audio, and so you might just allow access through the front door and you're done. But a more complex and of course much more costly service would be escorted video doorman, where not only do you let someone into a building, but you escort them throughout the building, keeping track of them, where they are and where they're going and when they leave. That would
correct. So I'm speaking for Anthony, who's in charge of all of our video monitoring services. We do all of those different flavors. One of the big highlights of Affiliated is that when we integrated our second monitoring center into our greater operation, that at one point was a active monitoring center that had already done a significant amount of video monitoring. And so that expertise was a very serious addition to our overall operation. It was some very high touch, very active, very interactive video monitoring services, whether it be wide area coverage, whether it be video doorman. And so in a 5-6 year period of time, we have become
Mike, do you have a segregated area of operators that do video as opposed to the standard?
Yes. The answer is yes. The answer is also, to speak a little bit larger, that we also segregate our PERS operators as well, even though at the end of the day, it's all what everybody on this call would refer to as monitoring. These are very specialized verticals, and they require specialized training. Again, when somebody starts with us, after they spend many weeks in our training program, they then have to, in a sense, graduate to be able to handle these different types of verticals. There is, somebody may only graduate to a certain point, where others can keep climbing. Somebody may be great at handling certain types of events, but they may not be able to graduate to handle, very, very high touch interactive video monitoring.
Well, a good deal of training is required for central station operators. The days of
a lot of training.
days of having a receiver sitting on your dresser and answering it, or having some.
So we never had a receiver sitting on our dresser, but I understand your point completely.
Well, I don't know about that. I know Stanley Oppenheim a lot longer than you do.
You
So
know,
I don't know
Stanley
whether
Oppenheim would never have anything sitting on his dresser.
he never had anything sitting on his dresser, huh? Okay, probably right. And I think Stanley started by leaving his card in the doorway in the middle of the night, walking around Lower Manhattan. Pretty sure
World,
that's what it
we have always been the highest experience for our partners,
was. Okay.
which then of course is for our partners' customers.
All right. Another New York City fire question. On a New York City fire alarm system, what do you do when there is no test signal for several days and no restore of a trouble condition?
So I'm going
notify?
to
Wait,
I'm going to
let
be
me
very
finish.
transparent. I'm not your technical guy.
Okay. They want to know if you notify the fire department? Probably.
So
I would
Ken,
guess.
I'm going to ask you homework, Ken. Get me that person's name and give me their email address, and I'll have the right person on a phone call to get them those answers.
Are any of your documents using DocuSign? Any of your dealers using DocuSign?
We use DocuSign. The answer is yes to both. We use DocuSign for many years for our partner agreements, for any any legal documents back and forth, and we have many partners that use our tools to use DocuSign to get electronic contracts from their customers.
Does Affiliated have do any direct relationship with any customers or subscribers, or are
We
they
do not.
strictly wholesale?
No, we Affiliated is strictly wholesale for 43 years.
Right. Well, in fairness and transparency, Affiliated does have a sister company, DGA, and that.
That is correct. That has existed for a few years before that.
Right. And DGA is a local company, really. It's not a nationwide operation.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Well, we got a bunch of New York City fire questions.
Yeah, that I would. If it sounds like they're going to be more technical, so I would say, if you'd be kind enough, Ken, to capture that person's information for me.
Yeah.
And I will put them in touch with the right person.
The right person is me, and you don't want to put them in touch with anyone.
So you can be the right person first.
Okay. I think we're going to deal with these questions, which were very good. There's a question: are you allowing tours of the facility? I think Mike answered that. Well, I don't know about COVID. I think you probably.
So we suspended that for a considerable period of time. That is something that'll start up again probably very soon, of course, with the proper protection, the proper social distancing. But again, always up for a tour. I think seeing whether it's me or somebody else, I think seeing the facilities of the partner that you're looking to work with is incredibly important. It tells a very important piece of the story, and I think it's very important to see what the investment is to support your customers.
Do you know anything about New York City terminal numbers and what happens to those if you issue you issue the terminal number, don't you?
I forget the sequence of events. Again, that's
okay.
I am not thinking about all things FDNY all day. I pay people to do that.
So affiliated is a lot more than just New York City Fire.
I think that should be a takeaway for everybody on the call right now. Okay. New York City Fire is, of course, an important piece of our business, right. But it's just a piece of our business.
Right. And we're going to almost end with this one. And someone wants to know what your experience is, and did you start as an operator? Well, we know he didn't. We know he didn't start as a runner. That's for sure, right?
No, most of our people. It's funny. It's a great question. Most of our people started as operators. It's actually a requirement now for the last 15 years that everybody, regardless of the position, if you start as a marketing manager, you start as an operator. first. I started 22 years ago when this was not a requirement. I did spend time in the monitoring center for about 2 months and then moved into our dealer services group for about 3 months, but I was not handling active alarms in my time in the monitoring center, which I probably should have. I actually started as an outside sales rep.
Mike, is that why I can't get more legal work out of affiliated? Because I didn't start as an operator. I've
See,
been
if you
trying
would
to
have
figure
started,
it
if you would have started as an operator, this wouldn't have been a question.
out. Okay.
Ken and I are cut from the same mold. I'm originally from Long Island, where Ken resides now.
Okay. So, folks, I think we've run out of questions, at least questions I'm willing to ask. And so, Mike, you're off the spot, off the hot seat or whatever you think you were on.
I'll just add, Ken, thank you for putting everything together for today. Thank you for putting the whole webinar series together. And anybody who has any questions, always feel free to reach me.
Right. You guys, affiliated is easy to get to, easy to reach. Mike and his colleagues are always available, and certainly a central station that you should consider. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for everybody. Thanks, Mike, for your great presentation.
Thank you, Ken.
And thank everybody for participating and sharing this hour with us. And I'm going to sign off and have lunch, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. See you tomorrow, I think.